Well, hello. Welcome back to Toxic Garage Customs. I'm Todd and
I'm Sam.
That's Sam. Sam and I have been working on Clive, his GMC. You've seen it before, but this time we've been doing a bit more work on the floor in the cab, and it's not quite there, but it's not far off either. We've made some really good progress. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'll let you watch the video and you can see the progress we've been making. This is a shorter video than normal. Had some other stuff going on, and that other stuff has involved preparing the slab and the driveway and everything for my new shed. And in fact, you'll see later on that my shed has been delivered as well. So I'll see you at the end of the video and you can tell me what you think about the work that Sam has done in here. Well, my neighbour Christopher is here on the excavator at the moment, helped to move the road base around, or the rotor mill, and earlier his cousin Robert, on the sit-on lawnmower in the background, was here shoveling by hand, helping me to get the levels laid out for the driveway. How good is it to have fantastic neighbours? So we're well underway. Nice work. Okay, we're back into this GMC Clive. Sam bought some paint the other day. It's been about 2 weeks since anything's happened to this. Sam bought some paint. So, the reason I mentioned we bought paint is that at some point we can start painting some stuff. We've still got a fair bit more fabrication to do. G'day, Sam.
Hello there.
Nice haircut.
Thank you.
What are you up to?
Just removing this
Cab mount support?
Yep. Tidying up this.
Yep.
So we can cut through here and put this nice piece all along the back here,
okay.
All the way through.
Yep, okay, and that's the piece that I'm working on at the moment. So Sam's fought with some spot welds.
Yep.
Below that hole in the floor just there's a tubular section like that, which is a crush tube, and that is the cab mount. So a bolt comes up through the chassis, or through a rubber mount, through the chassis, through another rubber mount, up through there, through the crush tube, and then there's a captured nut in that plate that Sam's just taken off. Yep, and the bolt goes into there. So basically you bolt the cab to the chassis. So we're going to recycle that piece. It's a bit bent, but that'll be okay. We're going to cut that out, and we're going to replace this whole floor section, as Sam just said. Where am I? This from here across to there, and it's going to be a return that comes down like this piece just here. So it's going to return down, and that's what the cab rear wall pardon me, will be spot welded to. So we're just doing that prep at the moment. You've seen us do up until here in previous videos, so I'm going to let Sam get back to that. And I have just cut some metal. So I've cut this. It's 80mm wide, the part that we need for the floor, and a 40mm return, so 120mm, which is what, close to 5 inches. So I've cut 2 pieces. The reason being is my brake isn't long enough to do the whole lot. We need something about 3 foot or 900 and something mil long, but unfortunately, like an idiot, I cut it and it still doesn't fit. So I'm going to have to cut it again. So I don't have a brake long enough, and I could just bend it over some angle iron or something like that, but decided to go down this path. So we're going to weld it in a few spots. So I'm going to have to cut this down to a manageable size. So I'm going to end up with 3 pieces across there, which that's okay. The floor's a patchwork anyway. So I'll make 2 of these and then a small piece for the end, which actually, as it turns out, needs to be a bit wider anyway. So I'll get back to doing that, and I will come back to you once we're there. It's absolutely teeming with rain here at the moment. It's night time. There's been floods and all sorts of things going on. We've had a stream of water running across our property. But that's what you get. Sam's just in the cab at the moment and he's welding in the section of floor that I fabricated a while back. And then once that's in, then we can have a look at putting those pieces in that I was just folding up. So just while he's not welding for a second, let's just have a look at what he's doing. Okay, so he's welded this section here in, part with the spot welds on it, and he's just going along doing some seams. And then we have those folded pieces. There's two of them there, which I incorrectly cut the length in the first place. There's one there and one over there. So once we've got this piece in, we can start putting those pieces in. We've located the cab mount, so that's all below as it was previously. And then once this is in, we can slice and dice and start fitting those bits in. Looking good. And then we can play around with other bits. So little bits at a time. It smells in here like burning soundproofing. Okay, good work, Sam. Well, I'm not really sure where I left off on the last video. It's the next day and we've had torrential storms in between. But anyway, so I know that I had shown something about bending up two longer pieces of steel for this, and I said it'll be made in 3 pieces. So it's actually 4 pieces because there's a little tab there, which I'll explain in a moment. And we've got some marks there in Sharpie just to draw some spot weld holes. But we've got this all welded up. It's come up nicely. Cleaned it all up. Going to put weld through primer on the back of it shortly. Previously we had painted in there. We're just going to clean up anywhere we're going to weld to, so that it's nice shiny steel, so it welds well. So all along here we've cut off the excess. We've got it up here. We've located our cab mounts here and here, and I think we're pretty much ready to go. So Sam's been doing all the prep on this, cutting it up. He's done a really good job. He's also gone along the back of the cab, and while it looks a little bit of a mess on the outside, it'll come up just fine. Cleaned up where those spot welds were. We'll probably replace a few little spots, put some patches in there, but otherwise we'll try and use the original metal as much as possible. And also we've just got a couple of little patches. So this one here, it will eventually go on there like that, and then there's another little bit for the back, this little piece here, which will go, there's a little rust spot at the back, so we'll cut that down to size, weld it and so on. So we're getting there. A couple of little things we've still got to do. Got to drill out broken studs for the seat belts and so on, but we're almost there. So we're just going to pop this into position. That is going to sit in there like that, and as I said, it will have some spot weld holes drilled in it, but other than that it'll all be butt welded right the way around, and the funny shapes are just to work in with as much existing steel and cut out any bad steel. Really happy with the way that's come up. It looks good. It's going to really serve the purpose well. It's all new steel. There will be no rust left there. We're able to coat inside and underside of everything we're doing as well. And at the end of the day, this will have probably some paint, sound deadener, carpet, and a fuel tank on top of it. So I don't think any of those items are going to matter if it's not absolutely perfect, but it's pretty good. Over to you, Sam. So Sam got all that cleaned up, sprayed the weld through primer on the back and drilled the holes for the spot welds. I've just started going through and tacking it into place. So around the edge there's a bit of contamination drawing through there, but overall it's pretty good. He gave it a pretty good clean up. So just going through, and as it closes up every now and then I just get the angle grinder and just cut through. I want about a 1mm gap, so sometimes it closes up a bit. Just run the grinder through there and opens it up. Probably need to do a little bit of that down there, but overall it's looking pretty good. Now what I'm doing is I'm welding a spot, then I'm going along to the next spot, and I just run my finger across, and if I can feel a lip then I'll push down if I need to, on one piece to bring them in line, hold it in place with a hammer or a screwdriver or something, and other times I'll just get the screwdriver and lever one way or the other to get the two to come onto the same line. So if I need to bring one up, then I can lever like that and I can bring that one up, or I can push down and lever the other one up at the same time by going that way. And I'm just making sure that it's flush at every point, and Sam's going to follow through and he's going to do all the rest of the welding on this. So I'm just getting it so it's all tacked in place, and Sam will do all the important part of finishing it off. So I'll continue up here. I ran the zip cut along that section in the middle there that you can see, through this part here, and now I'm just going to continue welding it. I didn't show you the spots while I was doing the rest, but I'll just show you this part so you can see the process. Righto, got that tacked in spots. You saw me levering it or tapping it with the hammer to get the steel on the same planes. And there is contamination in here. There's rust, there's a bit of other stuff. So some welds are good, others just pop and crack, but that's the way it is. Spot weld just here. So banged that down till it was in contact. These ones are still sitting a bit higher, so Sam will tap those down as he's going. When there's a bit of heat in the steel, when it's more supple from the heat, you find you can tap the steel down. It's a bit more malleable. Over here, bit of incorrect cutting. I think Sam actually had it right, and then I think when I've welded on, I've shuffled it up that way a little bit. But that's okay. This is a challenge for Sam to fill in that 4mm wide gap. I know he's up to it. The only part I haven't done is a part along here, so Sam will just run along there with a zip cut and do exactly as I did over here. Open it up, lever it up, get it right. There will be a little bit of poetic license in this corner here. Tap it and basically bend it into shape until it looks good. Fill it with weld. And then there's a few little spots here from previous welds which Sam will go through and fill these in, and we'll grind them off, and you'll never know the difference other than the fact that there'll be a whole heap of weld there. But it'll be strong. And then after we've done this, we will tackle these bits here, and we can spot the back on, and then we can do the cab corner and the bit over here and over there and the bit over there, and there's some over there and a bit round there. Other than that, we're all done. Over to Sam. Well, Toxic Garage Customs, got it all going on. Sam's on the welder, welding in the floor. How's it going, Sam?
Yeah, it's going good.
Going good, excellent. We've got a bit of uncopyrighted music going on in the background, just ignore that, people. Okay, so Sam's doing some welding, and oh look, the music disappeared. And Davina's here. She may or may not have had a couple of beers. She's compacting down the last 20 tonne of rotor-mill, which is old road base, old road, with Toxic, because Toxic is a steamroller. So far we've got 80 tonne of road base, or rotor-mill, on our driveway here. And I may have had a couple of ales as well, but that's okay. So that slab was 400 millimetres above the ground when we put it in, or in imperial terms, that's about 1 1/3 foot, whatever that is. So you can see the levels coming through here, but Toxic with the big 275s on the back tends to pack it down well. 80 tonne. I reckon we need another 20 tonne. We're reshaping this lawn edge over here, but that's my shed just there. So it doesn't look like much, but that will be the shed that's going in front of that shed, and I'll have my hoist in there. So pretty exciting times here at Toxic Garage Customs and Vegetable Garden. So yeah, we are still doing the rust. Got a license to drive that vehicle? Yep. While Sam's been repairing those captive nut braces, just weld a plate on the back there. He'll give it a bit of a clean up, and he's got this one ready to go as well. While he's been doing that, I have prepared this area through here. So there was a couple of cut through bits, just put some weld there. Haven't tried to grind it off flat. I'm not going to try and win any prizes. It's added strength, it's not going to be seen. I'll leave the excess there. I've just flattened it out a bit. It just gives a bit of strength. You can see there's a bit of rust, surface rust on that brace. So I've gone through, Sam cleaned it up really well, and I've just put phosphoric acid on it. So it's turned the rusty sections black, and the welded sections it's just turned white. And I've got this replacement panel that we made ready to go. I've just welded a handle onto it, and just about to tack that in place so Sam can finish the weld off. So it's not an absolute perfect fit, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to tack, shape it, tack, shape it, tack, shape it, and so on until it fits into place, and it'll be just fine. Well, that's as far as we've got, and that's going to have to be it for this episode, because Sam's got to go and I've got some other things I need to do. But you can see, got that back panel welded in, got this little patch panel welded in. It wasn't without its battle, and it's still got to be ground off yet. And there's still the little bit at the back there, and the cap corner. So probably in the next video you'll see that little piece at the back there get finished, and the cap corner, and we'll go from there. And some other little bits and pieces. But very, very happy with the way that's come up, and I think you will be able to see that from what wasn't there to what is there now, it would be pretty hard to distinguish the fact that we made all of that just out of sheet metal. So really happy with that. On to the next one. Well, as always, I thank you for joining me. Sam thanks you for joining me as well, and I thank Sam for joining me, and Sam thanks me for joining him. And on that, I'm going to say farewell. I hope you enjoyed this video. The next one will probably also be on Clive, and maybe a bit more on the shed, or maybe something else, because really I just make it up as I'm going. I really don't know what I'm doing from day to day, and you've probably already worked that out. So I will see you on the next one. Say goodbye, Sam.
Bye, Sam.